What is good, agency owners? Welcome back to another conversation where we have another success story, another amazing conversation with a 8F success story. Kevin, the CEO and founder of Jolly Commerce, a CRO agency, was able to grow his agency by over 200% in 10 months. And there's really only a few key steps that he did that over the last, 10 months that brought him on the conversation today. So when we met him, he was doing 20K a month, and now he's doing over 60K a month in revenue. And Kevin, thank you for coming on and welcome on the conversation. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. Let's go.
Yeah. So for everyone that's listening, can you just give a quick overview of, I said CRO, but can you give a quick overview of what were you selling as services a year ago? So we met in 2023. Um, what were you selling as services? And what
Yeah,
made you want to seek help when we met? And let's set the stage there, as because that will also tell us who you are.
right. So when we met, we were in the transition to become a CRO agency. And so what is CRO? CRO is e-commerce. They put a lot of money on their advertise. They send traffic to their websites, and their website is not converting well. So they are wasting money. Basically, we help them to improve that step of their funnel. But at that time when we talked, we were like not really sure. Are we a Shopify development agency? Are we a CRO agency? Are we
I
a
forgot. I
shop?
forgot that we did that. Yeah.
Yeah, are we a Shopify design agency? And it was not super clear. So first thing we worked on, and also with you guys, was to okay, you may do a lot of things, but you you need some amount of focus here. Otherwise, you can't sell anything. And we took the decision to really market ourselves and present ourselves as a only CRO agency from the beginning of the year. And this was I would say, the number one decision that really helped us.
Yeah.
And yeah,
You were web. So you were. I'm for. Yeah. It's been a while since we've spoken. So you were
yeah,
just selling like web development services a year ago, right? And you were offering some help. And I
yes,
think I looked at your when we first met. I was like, "Hey, can you offer this?" And you're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Can you?" How good? So it turned into a very organic conversation. I'm like, "Yeah, just sell a subscription," because uh, at the end of 2023, you were in a really similar position where it's like, "Yeah, you make 20,000 a month, give or take, but you might have a month of 30K, a month of 10, and that's not a fun way of being a founder. Where like one month you hit it big, and the next month you have no sales." And
100%.
that was probably I made that transition a couple of years ago, and for me personally, that was one of my biggest transitions as a business owner. It gave me the confidence on the first of every month I know I'm having revenue. So when we first met, you're selling web development, and that first initial decisions what that you make with 8F is I need to change my offer. I need to change my brand and positioning. I am now a
Hmm.
CRO agency for ecom, and we're going to lead with a website if we need to, but we're going to sell them on subscription to make sure that website's converting, and we're going to sell a subscription service on the back end. And that was the first thing.
Correct, correct. We're trying to do subscription before as development, but people don't understand the need of paying subscription for a developer. They understand much more better for CRO. Also, they are
Yeah,
ready to pay for
make me
similar
more money.
outputs. Exactly, exactly. So the mindset of why they come to us is totally different. The type of customer it attracts, it's totally different. They're not looking for a commodity of someone who will code my ideas, whether they're good or bad. No, no, I'm looking for someone who will be a partner of my business and help me make more money. And for this reason, we can charge much more. And yeah, it was like one of the best decisions.
Unbelievable. So you come in, you start working with 8F, and the first thing is like, let's change this offer. We're no longer a web development agency. We're moving into CRO. Once we change that offer, I know before the conversation we talked about like the sales process and actually structuring that. Can you give a recap of what you learned in that process? Because you had enough calls to sell and grow, but there was also like, what is the best way to sell this? How do I sell it? So what do you recall? Because I have some notes pulled up and I can share, but
Yeah.
it's always better to hear. I would love to hear what when you look back at what you still do today and like what you learned a year ago. What
Mhm.
are some of those big things around sales process, and sales structure?
Sure. So number one is I used not to have any script, any plan, anything. Like it was just pulling out the conversation with the potential customer and building it from scratch every time. Number one. Number two, we didn't have like clear offer written clearly. So I was also adapting and didn't have any very clear positioning, very clear pricing. So not only it allows the customer to negotiate more with you, but also it makes you look like you're not really professional because, okay, are you sure about your price? They would feel like nothing is settled and it doesn't really inspire trust. So the first step was to structure um, our sales process, our script, and this is the first thing that we did together with eight figures agency. Well, this we still do today. I used to think that okay, I can't have a very structured script. It will be too much. I want to have freedom to adapt to the person that is in front of me, and I felt not comfortable in the beginning. But after practice and practice and practice, I could make this script my own and adapt it to the way we talk. And in the end, we can adapt to every customer, but this script is here to kind of protect us and be sure even when I'm tired, even when I'm angry, even when I'm not to the top of where what I can give, I still can deliver a good sales call because I have this script that is here to save my ass, if I may say, and and
Of
and
course.
and, and provide this structure.
For those of you that don't know, one of the things you could get at eight figure agency that we really don't talk about publicly is sales consulting. And that's what Kevin's talking about, right? There's enough leads, but we're not converting enough leads. And it's interesting. A lot of founders, a lot of times, will come to 8F and they'll say, I need more leads. And we'll say, well, let's look at your data. So, how many calls a month do you book? What percentage of calls do you close when you sell? And within those, what's the retainer and what are you actually selling them on? And I'm actually looking at some of the notes from a year ago.
Mm,
You didn't talk about needing more leads or even sales. Like the problems you had felt. I'm going to read this to you. We're profitable, but we don't make enough profit. We want to target bigger clients and we want to increase the percentage of revenue coming from retainers, right? So like you were just
yeah.
thinking about like I want more revenue. How do I do this? And one of the big things outside of offer was like, well, how are you actually selling this? And just to tell you guys, like Kevin is saying script, the way I talk about it, I talk about like a templatized process, a step one, step two. The way you say things will be similar or the same sometimes, but the general path should always be the same. So I'm going to read you how we do it at 8F. So the first thing is always build rapport and check in with people, set an intention for the call, get intros out of the way. So like, what made you interested in the call? Tell me about yourself, your business. At 8F, when we talk to someone, I want us to understand like what are their goals, like 12 months from today, where do you want to be at? What are your pains, like what are you struggling with? Demonstrate empathy and like actively listen and show you're listening. Get deeper, ask questions on how it's impacting them in their business, personally and professionally. Give a recap, like demonstrate that you've really heard them, and then show some value. Show a path to solve that problem. Further qualify the need if you need, and then link their problem to our solution. Show how through the value that you could provide, how you can give a solution, then make an offer. If they don't close, handle FAQs, and then book another call, and then go to call two. So that's like I have that in a document, but like it's that templatized. It's not a script. I'm not scripting every component, but it's a general template.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
so Kevin, we structure this. I have here in my notes too that one thing that you could do in CRO is just pulling data. And I actually think this is a really easy one, saying, hey, here's how many uh, people are hitting your website. Here's some simple tests we could run. You have, I'm just pulling numbers out my butt. If you have
yeah.
10,000 people hitting your website, but you're only converting 2% of those 10,000, at this price point, at this average cart order, here's how much you're making. But if we make that from 2% to 5%, here's how much more you'll make if you don't change volume. So it's a really similar concept. Can you talk about that as a learning in sales, just using the data, and if that's something you still do?
Sure, sure. So what we what we used to do, we used to say just, yeah, we are good. and you should work with us. We are the best and we are nice people. So obviously this doesn't work as it's not a very good argument when you are a business owner and you want to improve your revenue. So we indeed worked on this, on reusing historical data from previous customer to make kind of a projection of, okay, if you work with us, this is the promise, because people need to project themselves. They when before they work with you, they need to have a projection of what is it going to look like 5 months after I start working with Jolly Commerce. And this is true for everything that you buy. Even when you go on an e-commerce website, you need to project yourself into the result, the end result. And in our case, the end result is very number based. How much money I'm going to make. And number one question. And number two question is it really possible? Will it really work for me? So this is the like second friction. How to solve this? Very simply by saying, okay, we've been working with brands like yours in the same industry, and this is what we've been doing for them.
Yeah.
Now I'm asking you, blah blah blah. How much are you making today? How much how much traffic do you send on your website? Okay. So based on our previous experiences, this is what we could get. Be aware, this is just a projection, not 100% sure, but in general, this is the average of what we reach. And then, oh, wow, okay. Then they can project themselves, exactly know what they can expect from the relationship with us. And then it's much easier to take a decision based on that. It's not based on
It's based on
feelings.
data. Yeah.
Exactly. So even if like every website is different, it turns the conversation from an maybe an emotional one to a rational one, and it's much easier to win this one.
Yeah, and as long as they trust you, they'll because if you're listening, right, there's two forms of trust that you need to have in a call. Number one is I trust you as a person. Like I think Kevin is trustworthy and Kevin's not going to screw me over. And then technical trust. Like I believe Kevin because logically, my logic tells me I
Yeah.
can believe him.
Hmm.
And if you there's a lot of ways you could do this for any agency offer, but in CRO, like I remember I was talking to someone recently, in CRO you could say, all right, we have 10 websites that we worked on. When we changed the headline, the average change, so conversion was this percent. So what you could do is you could make a list of 10, 20, 30 changes you can make, and then it's a 0.25% change on average, it's a 0.14% change on average, right? So if you have a list and you say, look, if we implement all these things, we could forecast low, medium, high. On the low end we'll get this, on the medium end if you're mediocre, and on the high end you'll do this. And you could give someone a very realistic target and forecast. And you could do that for e-commerce email, you could do that for advertising, as long as you have historical data where you're referencing other companies that are similar, or even your own business for companies that are not similar. It gives someone the ability to sink their teeth in. So I love that point. So quick recap on 2 points. So we're going to go to point 3, but you come in, you want more profit, you want to have subscriptions. You're trying to sell web development as a subscription service, and the realization is I need to sell growth as a subscription service, and I'm selling that through CRO.
Correct. Correct.
The offers changed to now demonstrate that we at ADF craft an offer with you. You're able to clearly articulate the value prop. You're able to change your sales process. You have a templatized sales process that is structured. So if you have good energy or bad energy, if you're stressed, you're feeling good, you learn how to use data in the sales process and make an offer and then convert people to subscriptions. And now it's all right, let's get to work. Before the call, you also said a big thing that helped you in the last 10 months was partnerships. So
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
I remember when we were maybe DMing potentially a year ago or like early in 2024. It's like, where are you getting leads? And it's like, well, do you have other agencies that you're a CRO web dev agency? Do you have an advertising agency you could talk to? Do you have a email agency? So talk about the partnerships thing, because I actually find partnerships don't work for most people. It usually does not lead to revenue. So how did you crack this code, and what did you learn
Really.
from that? Yeah, it
Well,
usually doesn't.
I so we were lucky enough actually to meet with first one actually app on Shopify. They really like our work that we post on Twitter, and they say, okay, guys, we want to partners with you. They do bundle. Then the name of the app is Foxel, and they do a really good job. And they saw our work. They really love our work on bundles that we did on one French customer, and they say, okay, guys, we want to partner with you we really love what you do, and we are going to build an app that does bundle, and let's work together. Okay. In the beginning, I thought, okay, no, I don't want to talk to these guys. I want to build this app myself. Then I realized, okay, let's focus on the agency. Let's talk to them. We really fit, and there was a good alignment. And I think whenever we start a partnership right now, I'm telling this to the potential partner, which is what makes a partnership work. Number one, you need to be really aligned between what do they offer and what you offer, and it needs to be an alignment. What do I mean by this? Don't partner with people that sell a service that you don't believe in, first of all. Don't partner with people that sell a service that is too far away from what you offer, and it would be a stretch for you to encourage your customer using their stuff, and it would be a stretch for them to encourage their customer to work with you. And the third one is really invest. I think most people, they try to sign a lot of different partnerships. They don't really invest in the relationship. Here we put all in with those guys. With Foxel, we created a really good relationship. Now they are my good friends, and like we are BFF. And we can they brought us a lot of people who wanted to use their app, big stores who didn't want to use the original version of their app and wanted customization, and we made those beautiful bundles for them. I mean, it's as simple as it. I just think most people just try to increase the number of partners too fast, and the definition they give to partnerships is is something that I don't know. They don't put enough into the relationship, I think. And I think it's important. Just find one partner that you can cross the wall together and be like really understand each other, have a great fit, both in terms of personality and in terms of service. And you really believe that what they offer is the best, and they really believe what you offer is the best. If you find this, you don't need 10 partners. You just need one like this to begin with, and then grow from there. And then these guys recommended us to friend of them who are building an app as well. And then it grew from there, from this one partner. So don't try to chase 20 partners. Just try to find like a good one that you can grow from it. So this is one first source of where we grew in terms of partnership. Another one was through actually recommendation. Some customer recommended us to some investors in France, and what we did, we signed some agreement of giving them percentage. Okay, if you recommend me to this brand, I'll give you a percentage. And here we try to structure everything as clear as possible, because some people just say, okay, yeah, let's be partner. You bring me business, I bring you business, and let's go from here. People don't have like the trust again that okay, this will benefit me as a relationship. So what we do, we seal that into a piece of paper that says, okay, I'm gonna give you 10%, I'm gonna give you 20%, I'm gonna give you whatever, whenever you bring me something, and then it creates them trust that okay, these guys are serious, these guys are structured, these guys are going to bring me money. So this was the second step we did, signing actual deals with interesting potential partners. And today, well, yeah, it's working well. But I'm curious, when you talk, what is the part, in your opinion, that makes it not work for most people, partnerships?
Yeah, I mean, I think you gave a pretty good recap, right? Like it's about picking the right person and having the right intentions and having the right accountability. Usually
Mm,
it's usually most people don't. It's usually not reciprocal. I'll tell you from myself, like
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I've tried partnerships a lot. I can send a lot of business. I usually can't get business back. So
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think for a small business, if it's like, hey, I'll give you one and you could give me one, and we'll take it from there. And I think you might be you. It sounds like you have just really good judge of character too, which, or you might
Yeah,
just have good energy and you're attracting the right people in. And for those of you that could pick it up, right? Kevin is from France. He lives in Thailand now too, so he's partnering with the first person he talked about was another French company. So I think those are all important factors. The right, don't pick a lot, just pick the right ones. Go deep, set the right expectations, and like have some accountability. So I think those are amazing lessons. And look, like we just talked about three things on this conversation: the right offer, the right sales process with data, and the right partners. And 3x in 10 months and profit, I would imagine it's a lot better too. So that's a year ago, that's where you were wanting better
100%.
profit, And with subscriptions, it's predictable too. Like I can imagine you could probably forecast with a really healthy estimate where you're at. So
I do, and this is a much better place to grow a company, and I'm in a much more confident place today,
that's
end of
great.
2024 or 2025,
Yeah, and you
than
live
a
in
year
Thailand,
ago.
so the cost of living, it's life is you're probably living a great life. So that's so congratulations,
Yeah, that's
Kevin. I'm
pretty
really
cool.
happy
Thank you.
for you, man. If anyone wants to learn about your business or check out your website or check you out, where can they find your business or you online?
So they can find me on X, just Kevin Miguet, and or on LinkedIn like Jolly Commerce, or they can find the company website on jollycommerce.io. But yeah, mostly on X and LinkedIn.
And for those of you interested, that's Kevin Miguet. Miguet spelled Miguet.
Right.
Kevin, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I look forward to your continued success. Cheers.
Thanks. Cheers.